guys, and welcome to On the Patio with Mr. D. Hey, it's been a while since I've been online. I know, my bad. Had a real busy, crazy month in January. Had family at the latter part of January. I mean, that was cool because family was here and I had a great time. But I was able to go out and field test one of the items I just purchased, and that is the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. And this gimbal, man, it really fits into what I do because it has a feature that I really like, and that's because it's collapsible. Look at the size of this thing, guys. And then you just pop it up, put your phone in there. We're gonna talk about all of that and the setup and how it operates and all that kind of stuff here in a little bit. One of the main reasons I purchased this particular gimbal is because of its ability to get compacted small, and I can easily throw it in a backpack and stuff like that. I mean, look at this, guys. It just folds right down there when you're done. There you go. I mean, it's really small, it's real compact. Now, this particular gimbal is designed for the cell phone. For those of you that have the iPhone 11 Pro Max, everybody knows that the stabilization in this thing is really, really, really good. However, it's not where I want it. So I said, well, let me try out this little gimbal. If it doesn't work out, I can send it back. Now, again, it's made by DJI. So that means it runs on the DJI Mimo app. And that's the same as the Osmo action camera by DJI. And my favorite camera is the DJI Osmo Pocket. Now, this is the one I use exclusively now on my kayak. And I wanted to incorporate all of these together to see if that particular product line would really suit my needs. And I tell you, I wasn't disappointed. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to set this thing up. It's really not that hard. It's real simple. I'm going to show you a few tricks. Now, if you have a small, thin case on your particular phone, you may have to remove it. In this particular case, I don't have to, but I want a better secure grip, so I go ahead and take the case off when I put it on. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and show you how to mount this, and then, hey, we'll be back in just a sec. Okay, let's talk about the setup here. The setup is actually pretty easy. Now, one of the tricks I learned right away was to go ahead and set my cell phone up while it's in the collapsed position. Now, you may have it like this. What you want to do is take it, twist it till it clicks into place where the DJI app is on top and facing forward. Notice the little arrow right here? That is the direction of your cameras. Now, to put this thing in, it's really simple. You just drop it into the slot like that, lift up this piece here, and you get an estimated balance point right here. Now, what you have to do is just move your camera a little bit by pushing it along the rail. Doesn't take much until that thing equals out. We are almost there. And there we go. Now, that's how easy it was to get it balanced, which was actually excellent. Okay, the power button is right here. This is your mode button right here. This is your toggle. Now, to take this out and get it into the up position, you just lift it up. What you do now is hit the power button. And you'll see it sets up in the vertical position right away. Now, it does not load automatically the mimo app. All right, first of all, by pressing this button twice, you can go vertical. And pressing the button twice, it'll go horizontal, okay? Now, if I want to change modes, I hit the button once. Now I'm in video mode, hit the button once again, and it's going to cycle through these different modes. So let's get back over to photo mode for right now. Now, over here, the first thing you see is your auto and manual settings. You can switch to manual, set up all your manual settings and all that kind of stuff. I pretty much keep mine on auto. Now over here is your settings for 720, 1080, and 4K. 4K at 60, 4K at 30, or 4K at 24. You just set that where you want it. Now here's the different modes you can be in follow, tilt lock, FPV, and spin shot. Now spin shot causes my camera to take like 60 some odd pictures all at once. I found that out by accident. I don't know if that's a problem with the Mimo app or I just don't understand what I'm looking at. So I just don't even mess with that. I either use FPV, tilt lock, or follow. That's what I use. You can set your zoom speed here to where it'll zoom in faster or slower. I keep mine kind of on the slower end for cinematic type of effects, and it really works out well. Then you can also set your control stick speed, your control stick direction speeds, and invert pan control and invert tilt control. You just turn those particular things on. Now the sport mode, I forgot to mention that. The sport mode increases everything extremely fast. So if you switch over to sport mode, you'll get a notification that it's in sport mode, and everything happens really, really fast. So when you're trying to track somebody playing soccer, in sport mode, it'll track them. So you draw the box for tracking, you draw the box over them, and then it'll just track them. It speeds up the operation of the gimbal, and it does a great job there. Now to get out of that sport mode, you just shut it off, and now it's back to normal. And that's basically the functionality that you have all up in here. Now, if I want to switch to the glamour section right here, you can tell right there, notice comes up. If you're in 4K at 60 frames a second, glamour mode is not supported. So you have to be down to 30 frames a second for that to be supported. Now over here you have all kinds of other functions. Let me get over to the other side. And let's go all the way to the bottom here. You have your hyperlapse, which is a real fast time-lapse system, your standard time-lapse. Slow-mo, you're going to see some examples of that here in this video. Your video mode, and I mean this thing is really smooth when you look at it. It is really, really, really smooth, and it just keeps your horizon line perfect. Then your photo mode, it just takes a photo. Now the cool thing is if you have a Bluetooth shutter button, it'll also work that way, but you just take a shot just by hitting the red button up here, and there's your shot. It's taken, it's done. Okay. Now the panel mode, you can set your panel modes to different ways. Now you can get the 180 degree panel, which you're used to with the iPhones and your other cell phones or smartphones, but I like this one. I use the 3x3, and it takes 9 different photos. I'm going to show you that right now, what it does. You hit the shutter button, now it's going to stitch that whole photo together. And there's the shot. It's all done, and it took 9 different photographs here, stitched them all together for you, and you can see you can really get some great results. As far as the functionality again, I'm going to just recap on that part of it. Your zoom control is right here. Let me get out of that photo. Let me recap on some of the functionality of this thing. Now as you can see here, it zooms to 6 times. Then you just hit the lever down below on the left hand side, the button, and then it'll take it all the way down to full wide angle. And that's what that is right there. So you can see the full wide angle shot right here. Now if you want to switch between video and photo, all you do is hit the button once, and it'll move to photo. You can take your photograph, or you can take your video. Now again, I'm going to touch real quickly on the auto tracking. Auto tracking is built into the DJI Osmo application. So if I wanted to track, say this, let's move this up. I want to track that light right here. You can see what happened right there. Now it's tracking that light. So it doesn't matter where I go, it's going to keep that particular object in the tracking field and keep everything very, very smooth and very, very nice. The tracking mode really works well. I tested it in the field. I was very happy with it. So let me wrap this up and give you my final thoughts on this particular item. So hey, we'll be back in a minute. up for today with regards to the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 gimbal. Now, you know, everybody knows that DJI has the market cornered on the drone market. And then they started dabbling into some photography stuff. They came out with the DJI Osmo Pocket. They came out with the Osmo Action camera, which I have, and that's a phenomenal camera. And then, you know, they already had a gimbal out, but it was big, it was bulky. And I didn't really want it. I had bought one, and then I actually returned it to the store because it was so big and I couldn't do nothing with it. Then I saw the information on the Osmo Mobile 3. And the key factor that I wanted in this particular gimbal was the ability to have it portable, where I could put it in my deck bag on my kayak and not take up a lot of room. The big long ones wouldn't fit in my deck bag. So it just made it not a workable process. Because what I wanted to do is to be able to use my cell phone on a gimbal and use the Osmo Pocket on its own stand in the front of me, and then I can use the gimbal this way and get some really, really nice on-water kayaking shots. So that's my goal. That's what I was trying to do. And one of the great things is when you power this thing off, as you can see right here, it goes into that stage. Now watch what happens. Just fold it down. I can easily throw that into a deck bag. And when you take your cell phone out, I'm going to take it off the mount here real quick. That's it, guys. This is it. Now you can see how easy that could fit in your backpack. It'll actually, in your cargo shorts, the big pocket, you could drop it right in there. Recap again, to mount, it has a little arrow. You want to use that arrow to face to your cameras. You want the DJI emblem straight up. And then you go ahead and balance your unit, turn it on, fire up the Mimo app. And again, the Mimo app is just phenomenal. I love the Mimo app. So hey, we'll see you on the next one.